Welcome back to Adventure Afloat. Today we're meant to be going to Island Harbour, but I've just brought the boat back from the mooring and the overheat alarm came up. And so we got back to the pontoons. That was the safest place to get to. Hopefully the engine didn't overheat too much, and we need to do some investigation as to what's happened. So let's have a look. We're safely on the pontoons. The engine has an overheat alarm on the way back from the mooring. I've done my usual checks, etc. And I appeared to be pumping water out the back of the exhaust. But after taking the water filter apart and the pump housing, we found this, a completely shredded impeller. All the bits, etc. Get that to focus, has come off. So we obviously carry a spare impeller. And I've put that inside the pump and we're just doing it up now. So let's see what happens. So we've taken the water pump off now because after putting the new impeller in, the pump was still leaking. So this is the water pump. I believe you can get repair kits for these, but I'm just going to see the price difference between a repair kit and a new one, because this pump is 25 years old, I think. And it's done, according to the engine hours clock, 860 odd hours of running. So we are going to investigate whether to get a repair seal kit for this pump or purchase a new one. So just to explain what happens, it's got a pickup on the leg which goes in the water where the propellers are, and then you've got that pipe there, and then it goes through the pump, which is driven by the engine through that port there, and it pumps it into the heat exchanger to cool down the coolant, and then out of the heat exchanger and out through the exhaust. Now earlier on today, when we brought the boat back off its mooring, I saw the temperature creeping up and I thought, oh no. So we dropped the revs and made it onto the pontoon and basically pulled out this completely destroyed impeller. Just to give you an idea of what it should look like. It should look like this, with vanes, and that gets driven by the pump. Well, no, it gets driven by the engine shaft in the pump and spins around to give you water circulation. This is what this one looks like again. So as you can see, horrible. And we got up to about 95 degrees on the engine temperature, so not catastrophic, but definitely need for a repair. So as I said, I believe it's the pump, because when I put the spare impeller in, it was still leaking. So I think the seal, which I assume is in there or in there, has failed and is allowing water to seep out the back end of the pump. So yeah, we'll have a look and report back. So with thanks to a very, very helpful member at Marchwood, you know who you are, I'm not going to name you because I don't know whether you want to be on YouTube or not. This is the seal that sits inside there. Now, as always, you get conflicted information, but I trust this individual who's at the club way more than I trust any internet search, and apparently that scoring is not a major issue. You could probably get that after one season with bits of sand and stuff and crustaceans going and being picked up by the pump. So apparently that's okay. And let's face it, this seal, which we're hopefully going to go and purchase, is a lot cheaper than buying a new pump. So we're going to see if we can get a new one of these seals which stops the water from leaking out the back and falling out of that gap, which is where the water was coming from. Get it to focus, there you go. And so maybe there is some life in the old pump. We're going to replace that seal, stick it back on the boat and see what happens. Now that's probably a much cheaper alternative, and as you can see for now, just in case any water came up through those pipes, I've just reattached a strainer and re-jubilee clipped it on, so that if any water does come in there, it can't really go anywhere and into the bilges. So we're now going to take the heat exchanger off and just check that there is no bits of rubber from the impeller inside the heat exchanger. So to remove this heat exchanger, you've got this bracket which sits on the end of the engine down there. There's a jubilee clip and a pipe underneath. You've got this top pipe there, and you've got the 2 pipes there. So we're now just going to take this off, give it a flush out, see if there's any rubber inside it, and if there isn't, we're all good, and reattach it. So I've just gone and flushed this out with the hose. There was one tiny bit of rubber in there. We've put it back in place. Got the hose on the bottom there, and then up here, let's see what's going on there. That hose goes on there, and that hose goes on there. We'll put those back on in a minute. Put the M cap on, put the pipes back on now. I have lost a bit of coolant doing this, so I'm going to have to re-top the coolant back up, and then probably get the boat lifted so I can clean the bilges out, because we need to dispose of that in a responsible manner. So we'll do that once the boat is fixed, and then yeah. So to summarise, the heat exchanger has been flushed out. We've taken the water pump off and taken the seal out. That seal, old impeller, old but okay impeller, and the next task to do is to get this seal replaced and get everything connected back together. That may take me a day or two to get that seal, so we'll see you after that. So we're back with the pump, and a very helpful member at Marchwood happened to have this seal, and it fits the pump, so we're going to install that today. Some marine grease, help it in. Before I get ahead of myself, I'm going to clean the shaft. So we're going to clean the shaft, and I'll be back with you after that. So we're just going to use some very fine wet and dry paper. Clean off the end of the shaft. That's clean enough to me. Grab the seal. The spring faces out towards what you're trying to seal against, so in this case it will go in that orientation. there we go. Hopefully one pump assembly reassembled. We'll go and stick it back on the boat now, and we'll see whether we've got a working boat or a big leak. Not the vegetable kind. So we're back on the boat in the engine bay now, and we are going to take apart the work that we done yesterday. So we've put the pump back onto its housing, connected all the pipework up, and we think everything's okay. So now we're just going to top the coolant back up with a 50-50 mix of coolant stroke antifreeze and water. Okay, clear prop.
Ready?
So we have run the boat up to temperature on the pontoon, and it has reached temperature and stayed there. So we've just gone out on a sea trial back to the mooring. As you can see, heading back up to the mooring. And for the moment, the temperature is staying fine. We've got no leaks in the engine bay. So I'm very, very hopeful that we have managed to fix the problem with, in real regards, is quite a fairly cheap seal. Very, very, very special thanks to the members at Marchwood who helped me out to fix the boat, because without them I probably would have spent a lot more on fixing it, so thank you very much. And yeah, we're going to put the boat back on its mooring after a quick 10-minute run up to the mooring, and hopefully, even though we didn't get to go to Island Harbour, you've enjoyed this video. not all boating is fun, so be wary if you are going to purchase a boat, because there are constant repairs. But if you enjoy that repair side of things, then it's not too bad. Incidentally, I found out this morning that if we did go to Island Harbour, we'd probably still be stuck there, because unfortunately their gate lock system has given up this morning. So all's well that ends well. Not too much money spent on doing the repair, boat fixed, and we live for another day. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Adventure Afloat. Please subscribe. Really trying to work towards those 1,000 subscribers. And until the next time, see you on the water.